All right, what's going on, y'all? I'm back. I know it's been a while. Been like a few weeks. Unfortunately, I did not have Wi-Fi on the vacation I was on. I was on a boat for mad long with my family, but it was amazing though. So let me say before I get into anything, happy holidays to everybody and happy New Year's to everybody. Hope you spent it with people you loved. Hope you had a good time, and you got to take a nice reset with the people that matter the most in your life. I also want to say thank you to my new subscribers because I got a few new subscribers, so welcome. I was checking YouTube Studio every time I like would get off the boat for a little bit on the island because you can't access it on the boat. So I would see that I think I got like 10 or 11 subscribers now, which is crazy because I didn't think nobody's gonna watch like my stuff this soon. I thought I was probably gonna be putting out content to just a bunch of noble and like just emptiness, but my last video, my Kenny Mason reaction video, got like almost 190 views. I want to say that took me off guard because all my other videos was getting like maybe 15 if I was lucky. Which these aren't big numbers in general, but like it's like for a start, I'm very grateful. So thank you guys. I'm gonna start off with my top 10 rap albums of this year. That is what this video is gonna be about. Mind you, I didn't listen to every single rap album that dropped in 2024. So if I missed something, I just missed it. There's a chance I didn't listen to it. There's also a chance I heard it and just didn't really like it that much, or not to the extent I like the other ones I'm putting on my top 10. I'm gonna start off with my honorable mentions because there's a lot of good stuff this year. You know what I'm saying? Also a lot of like happy surprises. So like I'll give you an example. There's gonna be an honorable mention here that I don't think is one of the best albums, but I really like the stepping stone that it is, or the potential that it has for this certain artist. So yeah, let's just get into it, man. Let's get into it. So the first honorable mention that I have on my list is Mike and Tony Seltzer's Pinball. This was one of the first full albums I listened to of this year. Um, and I was pleasantly surprised because honestly, I like Mike a lot. I started listening to Mike probably in 2022 or 23, and I enjoy his music. It's usually like super laid back though. He has a very slurred delivery. It's a similar essence of like the Earl Sweatshirt kind of thing. And when I seen that this dropped, I didn't have any expectations for it. I don't even remember how I found out. I just kind of just knew somehow. And I listened to it. I want to say it was January, February. And the song that struck me the most, my favorite song on it is, of course, On God featuring Earl Sweatshirt and not Seltzer, Tony Snow. The thing about that song is that I feel like it's the obvious choice because of just how infectious the hook is. Like, I know that we've talked about Earl Sweat. Oh my gosh. I'm rusty. I know that we've talked about Earl Sweatshirt's performance on that El Custode. I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. The guy where he's been memed and he's saying, "I'm not okay, but I'm gonna be all right," and he's like around New York City rapping and shit. That one, he did a great job on that song. But personally, I prefer On God a lot more. I think it deserves a lot more credit. But anyways, Pinball was one of my honorable mentions. I like the Drake Critch feature a lot too. I think Mike does a great job of popping on more energetic beats than he usually does, and the beats in and of itself are very quirky and very like just different than what I've been hearing in the landscape recently, and I think that's pretty interesting. So I like that a lot. But yeah, Tony Souza and Mike Pinball honorable mention. My next honorable mention is 2093 by Yeet. Again, this is the one that I was talking about where I said I don't know, I don't think it's one of the best albums of the year, but I really like the album because of what it was, like a stepping stone and just how different it is from his other stuff. And I feel like it deserves a lot more credit and a lot more notoriety. When it first dropped, there was like mixed reviews, I feel like, but I feel like the OG fans of Yeet really didn't like it, and I could understand that, I guess, because it sounds a lot different than his older stuff. I personally was never a huge fan of Yeet. I respected what he did though, because I seen the talent, I seen like the creativity. I thought that he, just was gonna be one of those front leaders of the new school, and I think he still is. But I just personally couldn't listen to him for extended amounts of time. Like I had a few songs I would take here and there and then put it in my playlist or whatever. But when it comes to like a full length body of work, I just could not see myself sticking to it. Like my ears would kind of just get kind of tired of what I was hearing. But for this album right here, I want to say I was able to listen to it front to back like multiple times within the same week that it dropped. I was not expecting that from me. And I also feel like there's a lot of inspiration in it that made me feel like he actually has like some foresight and has was that yeah, it's foresight, not hindsight. When you're looking ahead, right? That's foresight, yeah. I think he has some foresight on what he wants to like accomplish as an artist like later down the line, because it kind of gave me the same vibe that Rodeo gave me with Travis Scott. Like I felt like he's making longer songs. He's putting transitions in it. There's a lot of futuristic sounds, and it feels like he's committing to like this like world. And he's actually super vocally entertaining on it. And some of my favorite songs on there, Shade is probably my favorite one. I love Shade. I love the high pitch notes he hits on it. I think it's 1093, the like the outro sounding one. I love that one so much. My favorite at first was Nothing Changed. I thought that was gonna be my favorite because I heard the snippet of it, but it ended up not being my favorite after a while because I like the other stuff a lot more better. A lot more better. No, I like the other stuff way better. What else was there? There was also Psycho CEO. I like. There's so many songs on here that are just so entertaining. The Wayne feature was fire. The song he did with Drake was cool too. For the deluxe, but yeah, man, 2093. I feel like I heard a lot of Yeezus comparisons. Um, and in my opinion, I like this way more than Lifestyle that dropped after him. Because again, I think I just like his experimental side more than his regular rap side. Right, for my last honorable mention, this honestly could have went a lot of ways because I like his other projects a lot too. Mixtape Pluto was a really, really strong project in my opinion. It wasn't a top 10 album for me, but I really enjoyed it. I had a pleasant listening experience with it as well. Like the Teflon Don intro was a great way to start it off. He has songs on here that I'm absolutely in love with, like Lost My Dog, Surfing a Tsunami. This was just a really good project, honestly. It does what it needs to do. Easy to drive to, easy to play on functions, and it's nothing too crazy, nothing too out of his realm. But he still has little moments where you're like, whoa, like that freaking flow where he like sounds like he's nodding off in his sleep. The sirens on Surfing the Tsunami, the immediate high pace, the immediate fast pace attention grabber that the intro was. Like he did a good job, and the beats on here were super super fire, really cool stuff. It does sound like a mixtape esque kind of project. So for people who kind of didn't like that part of it, I mean that's kind of what it's advertised to you as. It's not gonna be like a full length like album where he's trying to appeal to different flavors. It's just gonna be straight up like mixtape. It's just, you know, immediate music that you want to hear. So boom, that's my last honorable mention. There's tons of other albums I probably could have put up here, but you know, I just wanted to give the ones that stuck with me the most because again, I didn't listen to every single album. So for my top 10 one, for my 10th placement of the rap genre of this year, I'm going Might Delete Later by J. Cole. But it's a caveat, it's a tie. It's between this, and I don't care. I don't care if I got ties. It's my list, my shit, whatever. I got this or Hardstone Psycho by Don Toliver. Now hear me out. I'm not sure if the Hardstone Psycho is really a rap album. Like, is he really rapping on there? Or is he really singing? Is it melodic rap? I don't know. Let me check the album right now, actually, see what they call it on my Apple Music. They call it hip hop slash rap. If that is the case, then this would be my 10th spot for real. Because my delete later was very, very like it was very, very good to hear on first listen. But when it comes to replay value, this album got a lot of shit that I like revisiting a lot. Like Backstreet with Tizo Touchdown, Glock, Kryptonite, Purple Rain. Oh my lord, I love Purple Rain. There's so much good shit on there. And yeah, but let me talk about my delete later first, right? I know there's a lot of there's like a stigma against my delete later after he dropped 7 Minute Drill and then took it back and apologized and all of that. But if we ignore that part, which might be hard to ignore for a lot of people, it's just a really solid rapping album. It feels like a mixtape too, kind of like in a similar vein that mixtape Pluto was doing. And I said that because most of these like songs, they're not super conceptual. He's not doing a bunch of storytelling shit that he would do like on a lot of his other albums. He's just straight up rapping, talking his shit, and I fuck with it because I want J. Cole to actually, let niggas know that he is that guy. Cause of course he's been on a great feature run of, and he's been killing his features. He's doing amazing with that. He's been dropping quality himself, of course, too. Like he's somebody that doesn't just drop a bunch of bullshit all the time, but a lot of the time he goes that super nice guy route where he doesn't want to like let it be known, or like he'll talk shit but then kind of take it back a little bit in the same vein. I don't want to hear that all the time, bro. Sometimes I just want to hear you go like going. So like stuff like Sticks and Stones, I love Sticks and Stones. I still like play that shit a lot. Or this song like Hunting Rabbits, HYB, I like his part of it. I don't like anything else going on for real. Wait, no. I like Central C on there too. I think it's Boz. I just don't think I can vibe with Boz. And he seems like a cool guy, but his voice just doesn't do it for me, bro. I don't know. My Delete Later is definitely a top 10 rap album for me. Um and I think that it's a little bit of a shame that he even dropped 7 Minute Drill on it, because now it steps on so much of the good stuff that was on the album. Because if you never dropped it, you never addressed the Kendrick thing in that vein, and just had that album be the album, I think there would be a way better public reception of it. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious, but I feel like the public reception being better would be well deserved. That's what I feel like people don't really like to talk about, because he's doing some of the most entertaining, most energetic, most like confident rapping and display of skill that he's done and like in a while. And not to say that the stuff he's been doing beforehand wasn't good, because it's been all great, but I'm just saying for it to be consistent and back to back like this on an album where he's like straight up just like talking to you, it's amazing to me. So yeah, and he actually had some pretty solid production. Sometimes he has some sleepy beats, people talk about that, or like he doesn't like kind of like reinvigorate his music with like suitable production for it. On this, I think it was pretty solid beats, nothing amazing, but that last verse on Pie, the rhyme schemes that he's been tapping into has been super impressive, and we got to give him his credit for that. I want Cole to get his flowers for real. I really really do. That is an amazing rapper. All right. Moving on from that, Hardstone Cycle. Hardstone Cycle, I'm not gonna talk too much about because honestly, it doesn't really feel that much of like a rap album to me. But uh, that's like the tie up to 10, because you know one feels more like rap than the other. This is a great album to me. I think it got slept on and overshadowed because of the timing it was dropped, because there's a lot of shit dropping. I think it dropped the same day as Lucky. Um, but yeah, this was a really, really good album. I love the songs I mentioned beforehand, like Back Streets, Kryptonite, Purple Rain. He has some of the best production throughout that summer I've heard in a while. Because honestly, beats have been getting really, really repetitive and boring. Not to like throw shade, but like everybody can't be Cash Cobain. We can't all be on those type of beats. Some people do it well. He did it well when he had him and Cash Cobain on that song. That was a really, really good song. But stuff like Purple Rain was so interesting production wise. Even Kryptonite was interesting when it did that switch. And I liked hearing like the rock inspired guitar moments while still having that auto croon thing. It kind of felt like if like T-Pain were in a heavy metal mosh pit. That's what this album felt like, in the most like beautiful way possible. Um it was way, way, way better than his last projects too. Because the last time I fully liked like a Don Toliver project, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. because I hated Lovesick. I'm sorry, respectfully, I hated Lovesick. I didn't like Lovesick. Life of a Dawn was cool. It was good. It was really, it was solid. But I think my favorite project from him was Heaven or Hell. You know, and now this is finally like a close second. Like it's like maybe a first, but yeah, this is a very good project, man. Simple as that. So let's move on to nine. For my number nine, we have Dark Times by Vince Staples. Now, a lot of y'all might be like, yo, this is way too low. And if you know me, you know I love Vince Staples. He's actually one of my favorite rappers. Favorite personalities in music in general. The reason why it is so low is because of my personal preference and my personal exhaustion of the low key toned down albums he's been doing. That's not a shot at him at all because I do realize it's a reflection of the reality that he's portraying within his art. I fully respect that. That's why it's even on the list. I enjoyed the album. Let's make that clear. It's on my top 10. It's just that after hearing Vince, which I love, that might be my favorite album from him. I don't even know because I love Vince, and then also I think Ramona Park broke my heart right after that, which is a fire name by the way. Ramona Park broke my heart dropped after that one, and I like that project a lot too. And they're both very toned down albums, you know, and that's coming off the back of when he was just dropping all that energy, like on FM. Like FM was is to me probably his most accessible album. Like, I feel like anyone could get into like an FM. But yeah, let me see. Yeah, so it went FM, then Vince, then Ramona Park broke my heart, then Dark Times. If you're seeing what I'm saying, like it kind of feels like the energy's just been going lower and lower and lower to the point where I feel like there's not enough like replay, there's not enough replay value, or there's not enough replay value in a lot of these songs for me to say it's like a top five album for me personally. But if we're talking about the way that it was constructed and like the message that it portrays and you know the hopelessness that you kind of hear, but also like the reality of there being still joy and it's like everyday life. You can't. It's not romanticized in any way. That's what I love about Vince Staples' music, and even just him as a person. He won't romanticize things that street rappers or other, you know, products of the culture will romanticize. Like if niggas is in gangs and violence is happening, this is not a oh we hard about it. Like this is it's not oh we're validating our masculinity with it. This is just the reality. This is just what it is. So I'm not about to make a whole energetic happy song about it. I'm gonna just talk about it in the most low key ways possible. That's just how it is. That's just life. So I really respect and like that. My favorite song on here is Etufe, but I feel like that's probably a lot of people's favorite songs. I also really love Radio. Um, the Black and Blue intro was nice to me. Shame on the Devil was solid, but you know my favorite definitely the ones with a little more energy to it or a little bit more groove. Little Homies too. Little Homies is one of my favorites. Like when he's just talking, kicking game to them, and the hook being "Don't Crash Out" is like I don't know. I just love that. But yeah, man, this is a really good album. I got stuff above this that I'm just listening to more and that I like enjoy more, like from a musical sonic level. But when it comes to like an artistic just display of what I've experienced and what I'm feeling, I think it does the job. It's just that I already heard Vince Staples and it was a similar kind of thing in my opinion, but it was just more centered around him, of course, which I enjoy more. I like personal albums. And there's also Ramona Park Broke My Heart, which had a lot of just poetic little like things in it, especially in the outro. And but it was also another low key somber album. So it's just, you know, at a certain point I kinda want to hear a little bit something, a little bit of a twist to it or something different. That's all. Only reason why it's that low. If it weren't for that, this probably would be like a top four, top five album for me because I really enjoy Vince Staples, and he's one of the people that can really rap. You know what I'm saying? People sometimes forget that I think because of his personality and because of like his tone of voice. But when you listen to what he's saying, like he's really putting some crazy lines together, like some crazy lines together. I'm gonna re-listen to this album more and more though. so I can make sure that I get a full understanding of it. But yeah, that's my number nine, Dark Times by Vince Staples. Great, great project. Um, I can't wait for him to drop more. I can't wait to see his next season of his show. That shit's fire. But yeah, shout out Vince Staples. Okay, boom. Number eight. My eighth pick is "I Laid Down My Life for You" by JPEG Mafia. Now, this was a curveball for me because I've always knew about JPEG Mafia, of course. Uh, Ever since I want to say all my heroes are cornballs, but I never really could get into him like that. Pause. Like I listened to him from that album. I liked some stuff. Listened to him a little bit of his collab project with Danny Brown. I kind of thought that project was overrated because I just didn't really understand what was going on. I tried to, wasn't for me. But he had some of these singles that I liked a lot. Like these sample heavy beats that I was liking a lot from. I think it was Hazard Pay or something like that. Something like that. There's some stuff that gave me potential to think, okay, there might be one day I actually really like this guy's music. Also features like he was on Denzel Curry's project before Taboo. I want to say I think it was a black metal terrorist. It was something, but yeah, and I liked his verse. So yeah, I always had little inklings of JPEG Mafia and thinking I might actually vibe with him. I've always liked his interviews though. I've seen a lot of his interview clips. He talking about him being in the army and his Kanye inspiration stuff like that. I like his personality a lot. So when I heard this album and it was weird again, it was crazy again, but this time I was like getting it. It was like actually sticking with me somehow. I was so happy because I always wanted to understand and like enjoy his music. And I hopped into this first. I sat right on the edge of my bed. I just put it in my ears, right, and I was just like, okay, okay, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like slowly but surely, I was giving it a chance, and I don't regret it at all. This is some of the most like entertaining rap, entertaining production I've heard all year. So then, boom, you go from the first song to the second song, and you're like, well, this is kind of I don't know what the fuck I'm listening to. Then once you get to that third song, "I'll Be Right There." If you really like grew up in a certain kind of household, you probably heard this. Oh, shoot, you probably heard the song that it samples already. So when you have something like that to attach to the song you're hearing, and you hear that "I'll be right there for," I was my whole face lit up when I heard that sample, and the way he flipped it and had those little like the shiny ass production, like it felt like there were sparkles within like a dark cloud, like because the way he's rapping does not sound like something that would be on that, but it's fire though. Like it's my favorite song off the album, and a lot of it is because of the sample, but he uses it in such a creative way. Like sampling has been so ass these past few years, man. People aren't really sampling. Like they are, but they're not doing it in creative ways. They're not making it interesting, and this is one of the most creative, interesting samples I heard because of the way he uses it. He uses the most infectious part of it, of course, like how you're supposed to do, or how like it was popular to do of a song, but he also takes a little bit of instrumentation and takes the strings to like swell up while he's doing this really hardcore rap flow, and it just sounds so beautiful. And the way that he'll cut out everything, like the beat, his voice, everything, and you just hear that "I'll be right there for you," and it just sounds so powerful. It's really good. Some of the best sampling I've heard in a long time, right? So then we got that. Then we got New Black History with Vince Staples. I just mentioned and talked about Vince Staples. I love Vince Staples. I think these two was not a match that I ever would predict. But then when you actually think about it, it's a match that probably should have happened a long time ago because they have very similar like energies, like well, at least within interviews, like they're very straight up. And the way they attacked this track was so entertaining. And if we're speaking on features and collabs, then I gotta talk about him and Denzel Curry again because Denzel's also a feature on this album, and I really enjoyed it. It sounded it sounded more like like celebratory and joyous because of like the horns in it, and then the way JPEG Mafia would like kind of slowed his flow down for, I think it was the third verse of the song, because I think there was three verses. I can't remember, but his whatever whenever he hopped on this last verse of that song and he slowed it down and just started talking to you, it was really really nice. So yeah, the beats on this album fire, the energy on this fire. Only reason it's not higher on my list is because the other albums I could just play so much more. Like this, don't get me wrong. To me, this is probably one of his most accessible albums, but it's still JPEG Mafia. Everything's not gonna like sound like something you could just revisit all on like on the snap of their fingers or like in the car or whatever. Um, it's all quality though. You can tell there's effort. My second favorite song on this album though is honestly the last track. Um, a infectious hook and another crazy creative sample. Who I don't know who it is. If you haven't listened to the album, listen to the album, and if you don't listen to if you don't listen to the whole thing, at least listen to the outro because it sounds so beautiful. Eight, definitely. I laid down my life for you, and I never would have thought there was a day that I would put a JPEG Mafia album over, like, let's say a J. Cole album or a Vince Staples album. I would have never thought that. 2024 has been a crazy year for music, but it like really good shit. All right, next, number 7. All right, this might be recency bias, right? But Kenny Mason, Angel Eyes is my 7th place for my top 10 rap albums of this year. Now, it was a toss up between this one and my last one, man. I wasn't sure which one I liked more, but then I had to really look at track list for track list, body work for body of work, and I give the slight edge to Kenny Mason, Angel Eyes only because of the consistency of the track list and just how almost each part had an impact on me, and how almost each part gave me kind of like insight on what is going on in his world right now. So I'm kind of biased towards personal projects. I like personal albums and songs. Um I really enjoy getting to know what's going on in an artist's mind, or in an artist's like life or upbringing or environment or whatever, right? So JPEG Mafia's album, I liked it, but there's like a lot of moments where I wasn't sure if I even wanted to like go back to a specific song or whatever. But this rarely happened. I liked most of everything on it. The way it starts and ends, there's a starting point, there's an ending point, and everything in the middle kind of leads you to the next thing in a very cohesive manner. And I really could appreciate that because that does take a lot of effort and skill to do that while still having the songs be entertaining. Because you got to remember, we're not going to be listening to the album front to back every single time. Sometimes you're just going to listen to a few songs. And there are songs on here that will make you be like, okay, this is a good vibe. For example, Everybody Knows, a really nice catchy song. The intro is a good way to just like rap and enjoy that part of it. I feel like there's a little something on here for everybody. Uh, Probably How to Survive is probably my favorite because it's kind of a little bit of it's like a little bit of everything because he's rapping, but it's also an entertaining beat and all of that. But also Teen Gohan at the end was one of my favorites too because of just how impactful it was without using too much words. Because that one, well, if you don't know Kenny Mason, like he takes a lot of rock inspiration, so he'll sing a lot of the time. It'll be guitars a lot of the time, but he's also a really good rapper. So when he makes songs where he's not really rapping, but I'm still entertained by it, I give it even that much more credit because I'm not somebody that listens to rock or that kind of like singing performance, you know what I'm saying? But when he does it and it lands, it really lands. And the outro Team Gohan was a part of that. Angel Eyes by Kenny Mason. That's my number 7. And I advise you guys to watch my video on it. I feel like it's one of my best videos. Like I really enjoyed it. So boom. Let's go to the next one. Alright. My 6th favorite album is Saheem's. No. Saw Baby's Sahim. Oh my goodness. This was the biggest curveball probably of my year musically. I would have never guessed that I was gonna listen to a Saw Baby project from front to back. And I never would have guessed that I was gonna love it so freaking much. Like, god damn, this was a good album. Sorry if I sound stuffy. I think I'm a little sick. My allergies is like killing me. Anyways, Sahim by Saw Baby. Let me tell you how I even like heard about it. It was actually I just kept seeing like people's faces next to the album cover like on YouTube recommended like because you know when it first dropped everyone was like saying how good it was and so like surprised and shocked and I'm like I don't even know what's going on. I'm listening to it for sure, but I don't know when or how I'm gonna do it. And then when I got to work, my coworker was like, "Yo, you heard Saw Baby?" I'm like, "What you mean?" He dropped the album, Sahim. I'm like, I seen people react to it, but I ain't click into the video, so I don't know what it sound like. I don't know. He's like, "Yo, you gotta listen to it. You got." So I'm like, okay. Again, it took me like a week to get to it after that, but when I finally got to it, I recorded myself listening to it. I was mad tired. I was sleepy as hell. I have like I made like a little short form content thing of it. I'm still debating on dropping it on and how I would do it, but I'll probably drop it just for the fun of it, right? When I tell you that was the biggest surprise of my year musically because of how quick it was, like how quick it was to enjoy. Like from the intro to Viking to shoot, let me check the track list. Um, Yeah, from the intro, Don Juan intro to Viking to Roll With Me to Anaconda Living to All the Way. Oh my lord, that's a crazy 5 track run. We really like think about this. That 5 track run to introduce somebody to you, you're gonna think that's one of the best artists ever. Like think about that. Because mind you, I never listened to a full Sock Baby project. I've always seen people talk about him and his squid-tastic stuff, but I just never. I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be for me, you know what I'm saying? I gave it a shot. I don't regret it. This is one of my most replayed albums of the year. Like, and it didn't even drop early. It didn't even drop that early. I think it dropped. Let me see when did it drop. It dropped in November. It dropped 1 month prior to the year ending, and it's one of my most replayed like albums. That's how entertaining it was. This dude's vocal acrobatics, like, of course you can hear the Young Thug influence, but you can hear Young Thug influence in so many people by this time. Like he's been influencing for like damn near I feel like a decade now, like right, especially with the Atlanta artists. But like it's just so well like executed, like, and then when you go to stuff like Kodak, super infectious hook, you know what I'm saying? Racks to the ceiling, racks to the ceiling, whole room green, no CGI. That's a bar. And then you go to Everyday, the flow. I used to give it a take and rub it a make and look at it. And then you got Lost on My Feelings, crazy beat, Stay Away from Trouble, crazy energy. But two of my favorite songs that are aside from like that 5 track run is 1095 Osborne. 1095 Osborne Street is amazing, amazing song. It's beautiful. It sounds like the cover art, like that majestic sunset or whatever's going on behind him. That song sounds like it. And then Working, the outro. I love Working. Um, wow, like this album is so good. I could talk about this album forever because of how surprising it was. You know what I'm saying? Of course there are some songs I don't like too much on it, but there's not too many. Like out of an 18 track album from someone I never listened to, this is like super consistent. I think I like probably like 14 out of the 18, maybe 14 to 15. Like this is really good. And when I tell you every album I listened before this, I like those albums for sure. But I'm listening to this one way, way, way more. And not in a way where it's like, oh, I just put it on and just having the background. No, I'm genuinely like singing along to it, vibing with it. Great project. Sababy, I was not familiar with your game. Awesome production, awesome way to glide over the beats. and super entertaining flows. Super entertaining flows. I was not familiar with your game. I love Sahim. I love Sahim. Great project. So now we're getting into the top five. It's about to get real now. You probably already know a few of the projects that's gonna be on this. You're gonna be very, very surprised by the order I put them in, but just know, this is my opinion. This is about to be my top five. It's about to get real. All right, all right. Okay, let's do it. We don't trust you. That's my fifth. And I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard it, I'm like, damn, this might just be my album of the year. But it's my fifth. It's my fifth. It's my fifth. When I first listened to this, I think yeah, it was like late at night because I wanted to hear it when it first came out. Because I'm not gonna lie, I scrolled on Instagram at like 12 something a.m. and I just see Kendrick Lamar on mad like people's pages, like the rap page, the Our Generation music pages, shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, wait, he's on the album. Now I gotta listen to the album. So I'm listening to it, and We Don't Trust You. Fuck with it. Young Metro. Fucked with it. Ice Attack. Oh my gosh. Fucked with it. Yeah. Gosh. Ice Attack. Fuck with it. Type shit. Fucked with it. No, type shit is something that we all heard a little bit of because this has been a long awaited album. This was getting hyped up for like all throughout of the previous year, I want to say, right? And then a lot of it was hyped up this year. But after type shit comes claustrophobic, and I think claustrophobic was so slept on. I get it, it's repetitive, but Lord have mercy, it's infectious. Like I be vibing with that beat. And then boom, after claustrophobic, we get Like That. Now when Like That was going on, it's like I knew Kendrick was gonna come onto it. Pause. But I still was surprised to hear his voice, and then he did what he did. And we don't know. We all know where that went. We all know where that went, right? Yeah, Future did his thing, bro. Future is one of the goats of rap, and I think we need to like talk about that a little bit more. Um, of course, there is the big three of Drake, Kendrick, Cole, but when it comes to all time, when it comes to trap, when it comes to influence, when it comes to what sounds like cool in rap, I mean, you look no further than Future. And then when it comes to the production lane of it, look no further than Metro Boomin. Like, how long has it been since Metro been doing what he's been doing and doing it at such a high level? Like, this is an amazing project to me. I think I didn't like Slime Dan. I liked Magic Don Juan a little bit. Cinderella I liked a little bit. But after that, we would have running out of time. Fried, Ain't No Love, Everyday Hustle. We got Rick Ross rapping like he's like back in his element. Like it felt like refreshing to hear Rick Ross over that beat. Like and then GTA Seen It All. Seen It All was fire. GTA was alright. But What the Fuck You Mean is my favorite song off this album. What the Fuck You Mean is my favorite song off this album. The energy, the consistency, the hook, the beat. Metro found some of the most like interesting vocal samples to put in too. Like the niggas just talking shit. Like these niggas really don't like Drake. Like I don't. I still want to know what exactly it was because they're not saying it. Like of course it could be a girl, it could be this da 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 da. Like these niggas really like Drake. I really wish we could have got like maybe a Drake feature on it. That would have been fire. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, amazing album. I can't stress how much energy this album gave me during that time of the year. Like this gave me a lot of energy. I was replaying it so much. I drive to it a lot, and it's not every day where I like so many songs off of a like a trap album. It's not a conceptual project. Well, you could consider it a conceptual project, but it's not like a narrative driven project. You know what I mean? It's just a project of really good songs, and they just did a good job with it, man. I can't stress enough how much energy this album gave me. What the Fuck You Mean is amazing. All right, now let's get to that fourth spot now. Good enough for the spot now. My fourth spot is Chromacopia. That might be a little controversial. I know a lot of people might have this at their top, might be their number one. Tyler got some die-hard loyals, but you know what I'm saying. This is my fourth spot. I thoroughly enjoyed the album. Thoroughly enjoyed this album. Narratively speaking, it's some of the most introspective we ever get from Tyler, like ever. Also super vulnerable, and I really appreciate that. Like I said, I like personal albums, I like personal songs, and I highly respect vulnerability, especially in an artistic in artistic forms. So, excuse me. So when this project was first announced, I was hype, man. I was hype, and everybody, like, you can feel the energy and the music kind of, emerging again. Like, there was like a little slow period, but it was kind of getting, what I'm saying, it was getting more energetic. But this was the reason why, because we know Tyler is super like crazy about his art, and he's gonna deliver quality, and that's exactly what he did. So when we get something like the intro being previewed with the amazing vocals that Daniel Caesar was given, and the speak of this fire that he has, it kind of reminded me of Mike's album of last year, Burning Desire, when Mike was referencing how long have you been denying that burning desire. Like, that's what it reminded me of. And it was super refreshing just to hear someone be so passionate within their rap album. A lot of rap like recently has been sounding uninspired and like not passionate, but this was a passionate project. Songs like Annoyed, songs like Hey Jane. Hey Jane is probably like one of my favorite Tyler songs ever because of just how focused he was with delivering his lines. I dropped a video on this about this project too if you want to like watch that. I don't know. Shameless plug, but I had a lot to say. Songs like Sticky, High Energy, it's for a certain environment that Tyler doesn't usually, cater to, but I think it was delivered pretty well. But my favorite song personally, which I was not expecting TikTok to do what they're doing to it, is Like Him. It made me feel every emotion in the book. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of the least lyrically done songs because it's more of a it feels like more of an interlude than anything else, but it just delivers the message very, very well. And the narrative of him grappling with the realities of him not having that much time left to commit to him wanting to be a dad maybe, or him just wanting to strictly just focus on his career and his free spirited adventures of just being Tyler the Creator. Like, he doesn't, it seems like he's reached like a fork in the road where he's like, eventually I gotta make that decision, but I just don't think right now is the time I want to do it. And I'm not saying I'll never have kids, or I'm not saying I'll never slow down my life, but I just don't think I'm ready for it. And you could tell that he has a lot of insecurities within that dilemma, and he's been very, very guarded about it, artistically or personally. And I think to give us like a viewpoint on that is something that's very, very brave, and something that's out of the ordinary for Tyler, because he's always bragging and boasting about how free he is and how he doesn't care about what no one he thinks, and he just does whatever he wants to do. Like, I just do what I do. And like his interlude on Call Me If You Get Lost, where it was he was saying, "Oh, I never been sad. I never, well, never been sad. I never had anxiety. I never been unconfident. I never been this. I never been that." To hear him actually, show little moments of anxiousness, little moments of uncertainty, it was kind of refreshing, because I'm not gonna lie, Tyler the Creator is one of the one of the most talented people in the industry, but he's also kind of created like a gap where he's like not relatable sometimes within his like mind frame wise, because of just how sure he is of everything. But in this project, he kind of shows like a lot of moments where he's very, very just timid, because of certain touchy situations. And I like that he kind of goes back and forth with his mindset and his mom, and how his mom kind of influenced a lot of what's going on in his life, because he said it on stage that this project was kind of just him. It kind of turned it into him just like rapping about shit his mom's giving him advice on, especially with like when it comes to like women, you know what I'm saying? And so to see the parallels of him dealing with the like the past conflicts and the past pains of being with a single mom who didn't grow up with the father, but then also dealing with like the present day reality that you could kind of put yourself in his shoes in a way, low key. He doesn't say that, but I'm just saying in my mind what I'm hearing. It's like kind of like you know the son becoming that father, but not in a literal stance, not in a literal sense, but just in the sense where like all the factors that you didn't see as a kid, to like make a parent kind of nervous about what's going on with having one, you're kind of slowly rising into that, um just in a whole different level, because you're super successful, you got so much going on, you got like tons of partners throwing themselves at you, and then to get that reveal on like him that whole time that it was the mom that was keeping the dad away and not the dad himself, like that, it was a really really big deal, especially if you've been listening to Tyler's music for a long time. You know that he's not, I don't think he's ever made that clear at all. I think we all thought that he wasn't we all thought that his dad wasn't there off of his own fruition. So yeah, this was a lot. There's a lot going on in this, pregnancy scares talk, having like sexual uh uh like sexual experiences with like a cancer patient or something, or like something like that with Judge Judy, where they're exploring the freedoms of sexuality together, and how he's not judging her, and later down the line he finds out, well, she's about to die, and she enjoyed herself before she died and stuff. Like there's a lot of shit in here, man, and all in all, to tie it all together with the outro, I hope you find your way home. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. But of course, my favorite song is Like Him, and my favorite feature, you already know, Schoolboy Q. Like it was a very very short amount of time, but I just like the energy he had on what the fuck was that song called, bro? Shit, what was that song called? Thought I Was Dead. I love Thought I Was Dead, and I love Take Off Your Mask. Like there's so many good songs on here, and it's so cohesive. And Dochi on Balloon was super entertaining too. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed how to his his culture he was, like his city, like his state, whatever you want to say. Like I don't know shit about Cali and the West Coast, like from a personal level. I never been out there, but I feel like I said on my album reaction, like Kendrick really made it a point to like be proud of it and have it show in your art. And I feel like Tyler is on the same wave, and he's been talking about it, because like he's been having these interviews with Reese where he says that he kind of misses when music was more regional, but he also is saying that like he wishes people like were more themselves, and like why is everybody saying slime, like we don't say that in LA, like that's an LA thing, what are you doing, like shit like that. He made very very apparent in this, and he does not fuck with Ian at all. Still kind of confused on that a little bit. Like I get it, it's a white dude that sounds like featuring Gucci Mane to you, but in case you hadn't realized, white people listen to Gucci Mane and Future. They've been around for a long time. And you gotta remember Ian's 19 years old, so when they was popping, he was young and hearing it, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but that's a conversation for a later date, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, overall, this was a great project. Now I might have some shit over this, and y'all might get tight, but honestly, I don't care, bro. I really don't. I don't, because this is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, Chromacopia, amazing, Tyler, amazing, amazing body of work. All right, boom. GNX by Kendrick Lamar is my third favorite album of this year. I know that sounds crazy, like just to even talk about him dropping an album, like because this nigga never really drops, but he finally dropped, and it was a phenomenal experience. Now we didn't know he was gonna drop this year until the beef arose. I feel like once the beef started, you know what I'm saying, really getting intense, we was like, oh, he's got to drop an album. He's got to. But beforehand, I didn't think this nigga Kendrick was gonna come back to a microphone in a public manner until like 2027. Like I didn't think he was gonna keep rapping. Like I thought he was done. So this has been a very entertaining, very great year for me because Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite rappers of all time. I think he's one of the greatest to ever do it. He has some of um the most talent lyrically and vocally when it comes to like enunciating and getting his points across, and very very articulate while still keeping an amazing cadence and flows. And he's also experimental with it as well because you know what I'm saying, I understand how people could say they can't listen to him and now he sounds weird and like an alien and all that. But I think he does that in a great way. Honestly, I think I enjoy that he sounds like he's from somewhere far from here. Like, cause how the fuck does he think and execute the shit he does? So, like, like masterfully, you know. But anyways, this album coming off of the back of Watch the Party Die was like perfect to me. Because after that whole like manslaughter that he did on the great Aubrey Graham himself, it's like where do you go from here is what I think we were all thinking, like where does he go from here? He just slaughtered, you know, the rap giant, like the most huge, the most like celebrated rapper, you know what I'm saying? Like it's Drake, you know, niggas just like what do you do after that? You know what I'm saying? Even mind you, the beef has been brewing for a long time. So we've all had our thoughts about what happened. Like we had little inklings of theories, but after that shit, of course his career's not over or nothing, but it's like what does Kendrick do after that? Like are you gonna rap again, or are you just only gonna talk about Drake? But then when he dropped Watch the Party Die and made it clear that the whole industry is on like it's in his scope, that just warmed my heart because I like when he gets violent. You know what I'm saying? I like when he chooses to be, you know what I'm saying, abrasive. That shit's entertaining, and he does it in such a phenomenal, eloquent way. And when this shit dropped, I was at work. This nigga dropped this shit at like 9 a.m. And apparently he dropped the trailer like a little bit right before. I still need the song from that trailer. That shit sounded like it was gonna really go somewhere. I hope he does drop another album, and I hope he does drop it soon, either before or right after the Super Bowl or something like that. But anyways, if we're talking about this one, whacked out murals to introduce it after just having watched the party die was like a perfect way to set the tone of I'm just about to really let it be known that I don't fuck with none of y'all niggas, dude. I don't fuck with none of y'all niggas. I don't fuck with the culture that's going on. It was very reminiscent of his song The Heart Part 5, where he's like giving all these critiques of what, you know, we call the culture. And it was just super amazing to hear. So yeah, Lockdown Murals to what came right after that, Squabble Up, the preview thing that was on the Not Like Us video, to fucking, was it Luther right after that? Like let me just look at this track list, dude. This album was crazy. Yeah. Uh, all right, sorry about that. Yeah, so I went from Squabble Up to Luther to Men at the Garden to Hey Now to Reincarnated to TV Off. Within that 7 track span, it's just straight high energy in different ways, honestly. So this is one of the best albums I feel like that he's dropped in more recent days. Like honestly, I love Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers for what it is, for what it like conveys. And musically, I think there's a lot of great moments on there, and some of his best writing and some of his best storytelling. But I can understand why people don't really, gravitate towards it. I still listen to it a lot. I still listen to like United in Grief is my favorite intro by Kendrick Lamar, like ever. Like Wesley's Theories is good, not just good. Like, Wesley's Theories is really really good, of course. Like Damir is really really good, of course. But United in Grief is my favorite Kendrick intro. Savior interlude, Savior, Mr. Morale. I personally like Worldwide Steppers a lot. Of course, Mother I Sober. Like, there's a lot of good shit on Mr. Morale, but I could see why sonically you just can't get into it. So for this to have all of that it has, where he's not super like trying to convey a whole overt like message or trying to like subtly sneak in, you know, uh, um, uh, he's not trying to like preach to you. He's not trying to tell you how, what I'm saying, you got to do this with your life, you got to do that with your life. He's just talking his shit, and he's like putting on for like where he's from, and he's getting all these people from where he's from to be on it too, and they all just kind of celebrating together. Like he's Kendrick has done so great this year that I feel like I've seen him like do like 4 or 5 victory laps. Like the pop out show, this fucking album, the Not Like Us music video, goddamn the Super Bowl that's about to come up with his performance, and the fucking trailers for everything too, because he's doing trailers for shit, like the trailer for this album, the trailer for the Super Bowl. Like he's just victory lapping this motherfucker, and it's crazy, and he deserves it. Like this nigga really did some insane shit. So let me talk about some of my favorite like songs off here. Shoot. All right, boom. So my favorite song, obviously, I don't know why my favorite song always is the TikTok song. Like I didn't expect this shit to go as crazy as it's been going on TikTok, but TV off, immaculate. I know niggas is saying that it's like a clone of fucking damn. People are saying it's like a clone of Not Like Us, which I understand, but I like TV off way more than Not Like Us. I'm sorry, I just do. I like what he's saying on there. I like the energy of it. I love the production on it, even though it's a similar beat. But that beat switch, that mustard, like that's my favorite shit off of it, and it's pretty obvious why. But other than that, Hey Now, Squabble Up, Luther, Whack Down Murals, or Impeccable are like my other favorites. And then shit that I really like, just on like a up in here level, is the Hard Part 6. He's really talking on there. Man at the Garden, I like that right here. He'll be talking right there. And then yeah, G and X I like for that, for I think it was whoever does the second to last verse, not the dude who's rapping off the beat. I didn't like that shit. But the dude before that, hard. So yeah, I understand this shit people don't like people don't like the G and X song, which I get, but and people don't like Dodger Blue like that, which I get, but Dodger Blue was cool to me. Only song I really don't like on here, damn, I guess I guess it's Dodger Blue, but I don't think it's that bad, honestly. I don't think it's bad at all. So I don't know. I'll tell you the songs I don't listen to that much on there. There's Gloria, Dodger Blue, and that's it. That's literally it. I listen to everything else on here. I'm not gonna lie with you. Just Gloria and Dr. Blue. And Gloria is a really good song. It's just like so narrative driven that I don't be trying to listen to it like that. But yeah, this is a good project for him. I honestly is probably better than like his last 3 projects in my opinion. Is it 3? Let me see. I like it better than Mr. Morale. I like it more than Damn. So I can't say 3 because Remember Butterflies is the other 3. Unless you do Untitled Unmastered, unless you count that. So yeah, this is some good shit. If you don't like this album, that's cool for you. I think this is a really good West Coast victory lap, you know what I'm saying? And I think I want to hear a second album, like, because you got to remember the gap between Damn and Mr. Morale was so fucking long. We deserve another album, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I don't mean to sound entitled, but goddamn, we deserve another album. This shit was beautiful, bro. All right, so my second favorite album of this year. Y'all are not gonna like this. Y'all gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" But I don't care. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. You're gonna be like, you put that over Kendrick Lamar? No way. Mind you, I love Kendrick Lamar. I like Kendrick Lamar, you know what I'm saying? I'm a Gemini, he a Gemini. But, speaking of Geminis, that's my second favorite album of this year, boys. Gemini by Lucky is my second favorite album of this year. I know it's gonna sound crazy to all the lyrical rap fans. I apologize to all the oh, I hate mumble rap or whatever. Like if you're still using that term in 2024, 2025, I don't even want to talk to you. So whatever. Lucky's been my most listened to artist on my Apple Replay for about 2 or 3 years now. Yeah, he's one of my favorite artists to listen to in general. So there is some bias in this probably, but I just got to be real with what I feel like is, one of the best albums, like rap albums, and this is one of them. So how this album struck me was that Heavy on My Heart, before it dropped as like a full song, it's been on YouTube for like a while. Like so I've already heard the snippet and I love the snippet so much. So when it finally dropped as a full song, I was hyped and I was excited, especially knowing that he was gonna drop something soon because he talked about it a little bit the year prior. There's so much on here that I can go back to and that I do go back to, and there's so much variety within the production and how it fuses with his voice and his lyrics. Like I really think that Lucky's one of the most underrated lyricists ever. Like I know he's not the super, what I mean, lyrical, miracle, spiritual kind of dude. He doesn't tell stories or nothing like that, but it's just that he has these certain lines that just hit you deeply, even though they're super simple. And within this Lucky Gemini, this Lucky Gemini project, that is what kind of just kept me coming back towards. That's what even got me going back to the single "Heavy on My Heart" because of the shit he was saying. Like, man, like you probably lie right to my face. I made you think I believe you. Like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But let me just go through the track list right quick. On Their Way, loved it. Courtesy of, I liked it. CTA2 Back, loved it. All Love, that was a single, really good single. Big Gavel, Lucky and Yachty, that shit was so hard. Uh, Gursky Way, I feel weird saying that song every time, was crazy. They all ran that shit. And if you know me, you know I like Lucky, but you also know I really like V's. So I was already expecting them to go crazy. Like we already seen what they do. Like they do great shit together. Like especially on Whole World Slap. You know what I'm saying? But or Worldwide Slap, whatever that shit was called. But Rilo Rodriguez also killed it, and I don't even listen to him. I don't know none of his songs. But when I heard him on here, I was like, hold on, shit was cool. Crazy for Real was like, that's probably my least favorite one. Exotic, hard. Baby Go with Future, hard. Kylie, that beat is crazy. I want more beats like that. I want more people sampling like that, like in an interesting way. Dotted Line, fire. Signed Up, fire. Twin Flow, amazing. 3 Summers Straight. I like what Lucky did on there. I don't know about Doug and Rilo like that. I like what Lucky did on there. X6, hard. Hustler Music is probably in my top three of most listened to songs from the album. Heavy on My Heart was my favorite song of the year at one point for like a good amount of it. Ski Would It Be, I fuck with Heavy. R.I.P. I fuck with Heavy. But nothing on this album consistently hits me the way Outro hits me. The way Outro hits me is like in a way where it's like I feel like I'm in a tunnel, like a dark tunnel, but it's like I'm trying to get to the end of it. You know, when they're saying see the light at the end of the tunnel, I feel like I'm trying to get to the end of it, right? But there's mad LEDs that are flashing from side to side in the tunnel while I'm trying to get to the end of the tunnel. That's how I feel like when I'm listening to outro. And he's not even saying a lot on there, but what he is saying just hits, you know what I'm saying? And then when it gets to the beat switch, mind you, this song is not for everybody. Outro is not something that everyone's gonna like, but it is my favorite song off this album now. And it didn't start off that way. I used to just think it was cool. But again, I was sitting on the edge of my bed listening to the album for the first time, and when that beat switch came in, I heard that dun 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 dun. and then he just starts going. When I tell you, that shit did something to me. That shit was getting me through a lot of the roughest points of this year. Like nobody got my back. Probably wouldn't even let him. Like he's saying some shit on there, but yeah, man. I can't stress how much I like this album. I can't tell you how many things I fucked with from this album. The ones I listen to the most is Outro, Twin Flow, of course. Heavy on My Heart, Hustler Music, On Their Way, and then maybe Dotted Line. That might be the stuff I listen to them. Oh, but also I listen to Big Gabble and Gursky Way a lot too. Bro, it's a 20 track song, bro. I mean, a 20 track album, and I like so much of it. So when you can give quality and quantity, at least for my personal preference, I'm just gonna have you up there. And then when I replay it so much, I replay this album so much, I had to put it number two. I had to. So shouts out to Lucky. To me, this is way better than Sex Money Drugs, but Sex Money Drugs was also good to me as well. And to me, this is also way better than Flawless Like Me. That might be a hot take, but to me, this might be one of Lucky's best projects ever, in my opinion. Maybe it's because I'm too new age. I've been listening to Lucky since 2019, so that's probably too new age then, I guess. But shit, it's 2025. It's the big 2025 now. It's been 6 years now. I think I could confidently say this is one of my favorite Lucky projects. It's my number two album. So boom. Now we're gonna go to the number one. We're gonna go to number one now. Again, this is just my opinion. Don't kill me for this shit, bro. This is my opinion. Lucky got the number two album of the year for me. My number one album of this year is Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q, and I don't think you guys understand how happy I am to say that. I've been a huge fan of Schoolboy Q's music for about shit a long time now. Let's just say that. Well, for my lifespan, I've been listening to him since my like middle school days. You know what I mean? And for him to bounce it back from Crash Talk to this really warms my heart, because we all know how Crash Talk was. If you listen to like that side of rap, people weren't feeling it. I personally liked a lot of moments on there. Thought there were some good songs, but he made it very clear that that was not really a reflection of his artistry for real. It was more of him just trying to chase that hot streak of good numbers, and you could tell because of like the way it sounded. It just sounded super ooh, it sounded super plastic, you know what I'm saying? But there was still a lot of like good moments, like I said, but for him to go from that lackluster project, what I'm saying, to this, and it makes you feel how it felt when Blank Face dropped, you know what I'm saying? It makes you feel how it felt when probably Oxymoron dropped. I think I was mad young when that came out. I wasn't really listening to it like that at first, but this was a breath of fresh air, and honestly, it has one of my favorite songs ever on it. With the song, you probably could guess it, Blue Slides. Blue Slides did a lot for me, man. Blue Slides definitely woke me up in a way. Blue Slides really put me in a different mode for. It was a great way to set the tone of 2024 for me, man. This is one of the best albums I've heard from him, in my opinion, from Schoolboy, because it's probably my second favorite album. It's like either second or first, honestly. I have it right with Blank Face LP. But yeah, Blue Slides is a huge reason why, because when I heard that and I seen the visuals to it, and he had like the hard hidden lyrics like, you better climb out of that rabbit hole before you fuck up your blessings, before you realize that it's over with and start to get desperate. Keep your mind, body, and pressure, give you time when it's needed. No, a man gonna be a man. If he don't work, he ain't eating. I done broke down so many times. Next time they gonna catch me. I didn't like, he just has so many good lines, and then he delivers it like like an uncle that's just sitting down with you, just letting you know, like, yo, this life shit getting real, man. It got real for me. I'm gonna tell you how it could get for you, and this is what you got to do. Like, it felt like or an older brother. You know what I'm saying? Just, it was a that I can't stress how amazing that song is and what it did for me. So yeah, Blue Slides being one of the singles before this came out really set the tone for like, okay, I got expectations for this now. I want this shit to be something like really, really entertaining and really, really like hard hitting. And when it came, it didn't just come and go like how Crash Talk went. It stuck with me. Like the whole album stuck with me where I could listen to basically from front to back. And it's not a short album either. This is like 18 songs. So let me go through some of the track list, right? Funny Guy I think was like just a little bit of instrumentation. I don't think it was any worse for a pop with Rico Nasty. I didn't really like. So that was like a little bit of a concern for me at first. But then when you go to Thank God for Me, I don't know if y'all seen, but there was a clip of him dancing to it, like at a DJ set, like a little preview of the song, where the beat drops, and that junk was like months ago, like months before the album came out. So to hear it, it kind of was like, oh shit, he actually dropped it. Like it was mad, like it was like super super like good to hear. I was like super happy when I heard it. So Thank God for Me is one of my favorites, probably like my second or third favorite off the album because of the flow he hits and because of the kind of beat he's on. I never heard him on that kind of beat. It almost sounded like bouncy, but kind of gave me like Evil Gianni vibes somehow. I don't know why. If you know who Evil Gianni is, if you don't know who that is, that's a producer who makes a lot of beats for like underground rappers. And honestly, I don't know why, but it just gave me Evil Gianni type vibes. I don't know why. But yeah, Thank God for Me is amazing. Blue Slide's amazing. Year 101, that was another single. I didn't like it at first, but then slowly but surely, in the context of the album, it really, really grew on me. I like it a lot now. Lovebirds, I love the sample that's used. I love the rapping on it. Movie with AZ Chite. I think AZ is the only. I think it's just AZ on there. He did a great job. Cootie is probably my third favorite or one of my favorites. That was one of his most like weird experimental kind of like approaches to a song that I've heard in a minute, and I was thoroughly entertained by it. I love the risks that he takes on this album. Like this album actually feels like risks are being taken, that he's not trying to chase numbers, he's just trying to like just display what creative thoughts are in his mind. And he said in an interview that I think it was the Drink Champs thing where he was telling them that he wanted to make an album where the songs like didn't feel like songs or something like that, where he's like ignoring structures, he's just doing what he wants to do, and it works. In my opinion, it really works. Ohio is amazing for some reason. I don't even think he's saying that much crazy shit on it, but the way the beat switched and then the flow he hits with the how much more I gotta prove, how much more I gotta prove. I was just a kid staring something and stars on the roof, like that part. And then Freddie Gibbs kills his part. Like we all know how Freddie raps. I honestly wish I could have put his album on this list too, where you only die once or you only live once, whatever it was called. But I just don't think it was like it wasn't on the echelon that it needed to be on this top 10 list. But the way Freddie was rapping on there too, and the academics line was hilarious. And hearing them on like more jazzy production together, like the aggressive part of it was entertaining too. But hearing Schoolboy Q on jazzy, like more softer beats and just really like lyrically showcasing what he could do and flow wise showing what he could do in a calm manner it was like it was so refreshing honestly. So Forward Absol reminded me of United in Grief by Kendrick, if I'm being honest. But it was still really good. First, in Nunu. Like, how did first go? Oh yeah. Yeah, first was interesting. First was interesting. I don't know how I felt about it still. No, Nunu I loved a lot. Yeah, Back in Love I liked a little bit at first, but I still thought it was a little eh. Now I don't know. I don't know if I can give it the love that I want to, but Lost Times with Jazzy featuring Jazzy, I love Lost Times a lot. Germany 86, I love a lot. Time Killers, I love a lot. Pig Feet, I love a lot. And then Smile was cool, little outro. Like this is just such an entertaining album from front to back. I felt like it was showcasing what he wanted to showcase, because he said that in an interview that the meaning of blue lips is like the feeling of shock or something like that, like the feeling of like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you're like, you're in a state of shock. And I feel like there's a lot of those moments in here where he does something with his flow, or does something with the beat, or the whole song just changes and it leaves you in shock, to the point where, like, after every song you kind of feel like you need to take like a quick little breath for a second before you get to the next thing. I don't know if that was his intention, but it felt like it, and it felt very well done. um so for this to drop so early, right, and me to hear all these albums after it still, and to still feel the same value that I did when I first heard it, is a big deal. Like, that's one of the, like, craziest things to me, because there is so much good music that dropped this year. And this album dropped very early in 2024. It dropped in March. That's only the third month. You know what I'm saying? GNX dropped November. Saheem dropped November. Angel Eyes, I think, dropped either November or December. Like, there was a lot of shit that was dropping later in the year, and nothing like Gemini dropped in June, you know what I'm saying? So the Hearthstone Cycle. But nothing has really like made me feel like, oh, this from front to back as a body of work, I'm taking over Blips. Nothing has made me say that yet. Well, there's no yet because the year is over. But yeah, Blue Lips was phenomenal. I really hope we get more Schoolboy Q in the future. I hope we get more of this type of production with the jazzier stuff, because I feel like that's something that he does very well. And I just got to give him his flowers, man. Blue Lips is album of the year to me. Okay, I did a lot of yapping. Did a lot of yapping, and I finally gave my take on my favorite 10 albums of this year. If I missed some that you feel like should have been on a list, then let me know. Like, tell me what was on your top 10. Or was it American Dream by 21 Savage? I know it wasn't that. If it was that, then you're bugging. Was it the Smino Project? My opinion, that wasn't that. You know, it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. Was it the Freddie Project? Was it the West Side Gun Project? Like, what are some albums that you guys really loved this year? And what did you love about it, and why did you love it? And let me know. Let me know in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Every comment counts. I read the comments, because I like. How could I not? I'm so small. Like, pause. Whoa, cut that out. I don't have a lot of people following me and shit like that, so I'll see it. Please like, please comment, and please subscribe. Please subscribe. If you got friends that like the type of music that I like, or they don't, and you just want to, you know what I'm saying, put them on to something different, send them the video, man. Send them the video. You know what I'm saying? Everything helps. Every little bit helps. So, y'all have a good one. Appreciate y'all. Happy New Year. We in the big 2025 now. Peace.